So let's talk about mobile responsive websites with Mobirise, mobile responsive websites with Mobirise. And so the question would be, why would we tackle this subject? Why would we do this? And because if you're going to get started and if you've got to, let's say, do something with your skills in order to either generate income, or you've just got to do something to make something happen. And typically, if you've got to jumpstart your online business, probably one of the best ways to do this is to build a site for somebody who doesn't have one. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people out there who, they've got Facebook pages, they've got YouTube channels, but they don't have a website. They'd like to have one. And then they go to someplace like Wix, or they go someplace like, or they go to WordPress, and it's beyond them. They want to focus on their business. They want to focus on their brand. They want to focus on their job. And if you could just build something easy for them that would be worth your time, then you can typically jumpstart your online business that way. And so it's one of the best things that you can do for a business is to give them a presence on the web. Now, when you build a site for somebody, it's got to be easy to update and maintain, because if it wasn't, then they'd be doing it themselves already. If they didn't need you to build it, then they probably could maintain it very easily themselves. And that's typically not going to be the case. So even if you build a site, let's say it's going to be a WordPress site, you go and you get a really nice theme, and you put a lot of time into it, and then they can't update it. That's not good too either, because then they're going to have to call you. Or even if they're not the person updating it, even if the person is you, right? You go and you get a theme, you get a freelancer, they put some work into it, and then you got to update it. And it takes you a long time. And what happens is, this is what happens to so many, let's say, information marketers, is they have to fool around so much with their site. They got to take time away from their business. They got to take time away from creating content. They have to take time away from marketing their business in order to mess around with the site. And that's not really the idea. So your presence also really needs to be mobile responsive. And sometimes you can do that in WordPress very easily. Sometimes you can't. And so it really does have to be so that the site responds to your mobile. And again, it's not always going to be a straightforward process, depending on what site what site builder you use, depending on what level of WordPress you're using. It's just not necessarily all that straightforward. And all of this stuff has traditionally been where WordPress has shined, right? People typically say, if I were to ask you, where can I start building a site right away and have it go extremely well and have it be easy? The standard answer among information marketers is that you need to go get a WordPress site, right? Because it's expandable. You can add on plugins, you can add on a theme. And so that is our typical answer. Now, here's why that is, right? Because when you get WordPress as a platform, if you get the basic platform, you go get a domain, you go get hosting, it's free, right? It doesn't cost you anything. So, you might have to get a theme, might have to get a plugin, but for the most part, you can get started on WordPress. You don't have to have anything outside of your domain and hosting. And that's typically why I think we typically recommend it to each other, as well as small business people, as well as anyone, right? Getting started with building a site for themselves. The question is this: is WordPress really easy to maintain? Is that true? And I think that the answer to that, at least the answer to that, according to the people who've been here, is that it isn't, right? It's not necessarily all that easy to maintain. And it's easy, and while it is easy to install, right, most of us could probably walk through the steps of getting our WordPress site installed. You could probably follow a tutorial, probably follow a PDF, probably follow a blog article. It's not necessarily all that easy to customize. And there are as many rules on customizing a site as there are methods. And so that's just not a very straightforward thing. It can be overwhelming. And again, it'll take away time from your business or take away time from marketing your business. And let's say that you find a theme that you like. Typically, that may not be easy to maintain. It may be easy to get installed. Once again, it's just not easy to maintain. So one way to build a site, whether or not it's your business or your organization, is to use Mobirise. Mobirise is a way for you to build a site that really helps you with all these things. And again, it isn't WordPress. So how do we look at this? So how should we look at Mobirise? It's a free downloadable mobile responsive website builder. That's what it is. Doesn't take any special skill to go and get it. Doesn't cost you anything to get the mobile website builder. And there's no commercial license. So in other words, you can use it personally or you can use it for clients out of the box. So you're not paying for anything. You don't have to pay extra for a commercial license. You want to build a site for someone else, you can go and get the software and you can build it. The builder is basically user form supported. So in other words, if something isn't working or you're trying to figure something out or you're trying to do something special, there are other people who are using Mobirise. There is a forum and they talk to each other in order to help each other. So Mobirise does not provide support. Naturally, I mean, you get the software free, then they're not going to support the software in that they're going to show you how to use it, how to make things work. They're going to help you find other users who are trying to do the same thing. Now, if you buy an add-on, and yes, there are add-ons, that's not the purpose of this training, is to get you to buy add-ons. But I do want to let you know there are some, and there is support for those add-ons when you get them. Now, the builder is basically drag and drop. It can be navigated with limited technical skills. Very limited. So you don't have to be a guru. You don't have to be a tech person in order to get your site to work right, in order to get it to look good, in order to get it up and running. It comes with both a preview and an undo feature. That's what I really like. So in other words, I can test out everything. I can decide, okay, I don't like this, and I can pitch it. And then I can start over again. Or I don't have to start over from the very beginning. I can start at the point at which I started making changes. Right? That's very helpful to me if I'm not necessarily all that technical. What can you do? Right? So if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, what can you do if you know how to use Mobirise? What can you do knowing how to use it? One of the things is that you can build a mobile responsive website, again, for yourself or for a business. You don't have to know how to code anything. You don't have to know anything about HTML or CSS. Now, again, I mean, there are areas where if you want to do that, you can get involved with the CSS and the HTML, but you don't have to do that in order to get a site up. You can create a site for a business without knowing how to use WordPress. That's what you can do. You can create mobile responsive sales pages. You can create mobile responsive opt-in pages, again, without having to know a lot of other code. Now, here's the thing about Mobirise. Now, it doesn't come with necessarily a facility that is central to blogging. Now, I am going to show you some ways in which you can work around that. But let's say that what you do like about WordPress is that it really is good for blogging, right? And so you want to be able to have your business, or you want to be able to create a site for someone that has a business, and you want to give them the ability to blog also. Now, if that is the case, and that's a very smart way of being able to do things, you can very easily put WordPress in a subdirectory, right? So in other words, what you can do is you can have the blogging and the SEO ranking capability of WordPress for content, right? So you can have that. At the same time, you can maintain your blog. Right? And at the same time, you can maintain your front page with Mobirise, right? So you can maintain your business pages with Mobirise, and you can blog with WordPress. So if you just want to have a basic, a basic blog, a basic update page, you can do that in WordPress. You don't have to have a lot of fancy things, but if you want to have your business site and you want to be able to walk through this process, then you can do that with Mobirise. Let's see, I've got a question here. Then you could keep the WordPress blog simple. You don't have to get into the intricacies of that. You just want to make sure it doesn't get hacked. And even then, when you've got something really simple, it's unlikely that anyone's going to be after your site. So yeah, that's a great question. And yes, you could keep the blog simple. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. There is only the pricing of add-ons. Now, once again, the core module is free. And that's what we're going to be talking about here. So, and this is just for logistical sake. So that you don't go to the page, you don't start looking for things and then get surprised by something. So probably if you buy anything, you'd be buying a PayPal shopping cart, and you might buy some icon extensions, right? And then if you really want to get into the code, right? If you just kind of feel like, well, I want to get behind the code, I want to know how this works, you can do that. There's a code editor. There are some other themes, right? There's some themes that they give you, DirectM, SpaceM, ColorM, other things like that. Then they've got a block of 3, and then they give you an image slider, right? So again, all of these things are extra. You don't have to have them, and you're going to see that here with Mobirise. And if you just kind of want to get everything all together, right? It's $149. You get the code editor, PayPal cart, wow slider, and all the other stuff. So that's all about the cost, right? So if you're gonna pay, you can pay $149, and then that would do it. But once again, the point of this is that for the basic use of Mobirise, it's free. You're gonna see that. So let's get into the demo so you can see.